From pushing her vegetarian beliefs on others to getting so jealous that she actively sabotages another student, these are all the reasons Lisa Simpson doesn't have friends. We're kicking off with Lisa the Vegetarian, an episode where Lisa tries to push her vegetarian beliefs on the world, alienating everyone in the process. The episode starts with the Simpsons visiting Storytown Village, an unimaginably dull theme park for little kids. The family visits the petting zoo where Lisa becomes smitten with an adorable lamb, and things quickly start to spiral for little Lisa. Back home, Homer decides to throw a big barbecue because, well, Flanders is having a family reunion, and Homer can't let him have all the char-grill fun. But when Marge serves lamb chops for dinner, Lisa can't stomach them. She's haunted by memories of the lamb she saw earlier. It was too cute. Now she can't let go of that thought.
Lisa, get a hold of yourself. This is lamb, not a lamb.
What's the difference between this lamb and the one that kissed me? This one spent 2 hours in the broiler.
She puts two and two together about meat and animals, has an epiphany, and announces she's going vegetarian. And of course, Homer and Bart react badly. At school, Lisa's new lifestyle doesn't exactly win her friends. She refuses to dissect a worm in science class, triggering alarms for independent thought. And lunch is a disaster when the vegetarian option is a hot dog bun. Nothing else, just a bun. Even worse, when she speaks out against meat, the other kids mock her, with Ralph declaring his dream of going to Bovine University, which is an excellent joke, but you know he's being totally serious. Back home, Homer is hyped for his barbecue, complete with pig-shaped invitations and a typo riddle BBBQ. Lisa, frustrated with the whole thing, prepares gazpacho for the party, only to be laughed at for trying to push her vegetarian agenda on everyone. Turns out, people don't like being told what to do, but things really boil over when Homer unveils his pièce de résistance, a whole roast pig. Lisa snaps, hijacks a lawnmower, and launches the pig into oblivion. Literally. Homer is furious, Lisa's grounded, and the two clash, with Lisa storming out after being mocked by everybody and bombarded with meat ads. Desperate to just give in and be done with it, she grabs a hot dog at the Quickie Mart and bites into it, only to learn it's tofu. Turns out Apu is a vegan too, so it's not just one smart little girl. He takes her to his rooftop garden where she meets Paul and Linda McCartney. Apu reminds her that it's okay to have her own beliefs, but not to force them on others.
I learned long ago, Lisa, to tolerate others rather than forcing my beliefs on them. You know, you can influence people without badgering them always. It's like Paul's song, live and let live.
Actually, it was live and let die.
Whatever, it had a good rhythm.
Lisa returns home and apologizes to Homer for ruining his barbecue, but sticks to her vegetarianism. They reconcile in their own way, and peace is restored, just in time for that flying pig to keep soaring through the credits. Might steal that idea for this video. Lisa's aggressive pushing of her beliefs is obviously off-putting to a lot of people, but it's nothing compared to what she does when confronted with someone that is better than her. This is Lisa's rival. So Springfield Elementary gets a brand new student, Allison Taylor, and wow, she's like Lisa 2.0. She's just as smart, skipped a grade, and even plays the saxophone like a pro. Naturally, Lisa tries to be friendly since they're basically the same person, but the green-eyed monster is lurking. It's not just that Allison is good, it's that she might actually be better.
Columbus was looking for a passage to India.
Oh, correct, Allison. And on your very first day in our class.
And during a subsequent voyage, Columbus found what is now the continent of South America.
Yowee.
I never married Miss Hoover, Yowie.
Soon, it's time for the school's big diorama contest. Allison is all ready to crush it with her perfect model of the Telltale Heart. So early, so organized, so flawless, she's phenomenal. Lisa, of course, wants to top it, pouring her soul into her Oliver Twist diorama. But disaster strikes. Over-the-top snowstorm effect backfires, wrecking her project entirely. That's when Bart swoops in with a scheme to sabotage Allison. And because she doesn't want to be a loser, Lisa's desperate enough to go along with it, even though it's really not who she is. On the big day, Bart swaps out Allison's project with a gross cow's heart. Let's not ask where he got it, and Principal Skinner totally buys it. He humiliates Allison in front of the entire school, even suggesting she doesn't deserve her skipped grade, which is insane to do to a child. Allison is mortified, and Lisa, she's starting to feel like the villain, because she is. Her guilt hits full throttle as she literally imagines a heartbeat, like a scene ripped straight from the Telltale Heart. Her conscience wins out, and she confesses, handing over Allison's real diorama and admitting all of her lies. In the end, it doesn't even matter. Both Lisa and Allison lose to Ralph Wiggum, who wins with a box of Star Wars figures still in their original packaging, proving once again that making an effort is overrated and largely pointless. But here's the heart of the story. Lisa and Allison patch things up. They realize competing doesn't mean they can be friends. Walking home together, they even bring Ralph along after he trips and breaks his beloved figures.
I bent my Wookiee.
But obviously, we can't judge all of our friendships on one rivalry, of course. So let's move on to our next episode, Lisa the Drama Queen, where Lisa successfully makes a friend and invents a new world. So Homer drags the kids to take classes at the rec center, where Lisa ends up meeting Juliet, a super smart, artsy girl who's also been obsessed with Josh Groban. Okay, let's just move past it. They hit it off instantly, and things get real nerdy real fast.
Lisa, do you want to be best friends?
Gosh, this is all happening so fast. I don't know what to say. Say yes, say yes. I'd love to. Woohoo!
Together, they create a fantasy world called Equalia, which becomes their everything. It's all knights, queens, and epic battles, and the two of them get so sucked in that they start ignoring, well, reality. And who can blame them? They basically get ignored all the time. For Juliet, Equalia isn't just for fun, it's her escape. Her dad's a total academic snob who only cares about John Grisham novels and dismisses her creative side entirely. Lisa's all in on the fantasy too, but her grades and focus at school tank as a result. She can't just focus on everything, but of course Marge is not amused and decides Juliet is a bad influence, telling Lisa to stay away from her. So what do Lisa and Juliet do? Naturally, they run away to an old castle-themed restaurant to live out their Equalia dreams in peace. It's all very dramatic, teen girl kind of stuff, but here's the twist. The restaurant is the hangout spot for Jimbo, Dolph, and Kearney, who aren't exactly welcoming. They trap the girls and try to destroy their precious Equalia manuscript, which is surprisingly mean for a bunch of boys to do. Although, I guess it should be expected. Lisa and Juliet manage to turn Kearney into an unexpected ally by spinning their fantasy tales, and he turns on Jimbo and Dolph. Hero moment, right? Kind of. After escaping, Lisa realizes this whole thing has gone way too far. When she tells Juliet they need to come back to reality, Juliet flips out, ends their friendship, and storms off.
The real world is for people who can't imagine anything better. Goodbye, Lisa.
Goodbye, Juliet.
Yeah, maybe that's why you don't have friends. They're all crazy. Flash forward 2 months, Lisa tries to publish Equalia as a book, but gets hit with a rejection letter. Ouch. She's bummed, but brushes it off, inspiring Homer to create his own fantasy world. It's not exactly Tolkien-level stuff. In Homer's imagination, Bart's a hot dog, Lisa's a starfish, Marge is a bottle of Duff beer, and Maggie's a monster truck. And Juliet? Juliet is just left to go back to her abusive home life? What kind of messed up ending is that? Lisa is officially back in the real world where she belongs. But of course, that's not good news for others. In Lisa the Skeptic, we see the consequences of her intelligence when everybody else wants to believe. So Homer gets tricked in a police sting while trying to buy a motorboat. Meanwhile, Springfield's got a new shopping mall going up, but fossils have been found at the site. Lisa is immediately against the mall, rallying for a dig instead. Cue the discovery of a human skeleton with wings. Yup, a full-on angel. One of the more normal things found in Springfield, I imagine. The whole town goes nuts, of course, proclaiming it's some kind of a divine miracle.
But it can't be an angel.
Oh no? Well, if you're so sure what it ain't, how about telling us what it am?
Homer turns it into a money-making scheme, putting the skeletons in the garage and charging people to see it. But Lisa, she's not buying it. She's convinced it's a hoax and even gets scientist Stephen Jay Gould to test the skeleton and prove it. Unfortunately, Gould's results are inconclusive, but that doesn't stop Lisa from going on TV to basically call the angel believers a bunch of unicorn-chasing leprechaun lovers, which is a very specific allegation, but not necessarily false. The whole town of Springfield loses it, like full-on religious mob chaos, smashing up scientific institutions all over. But then the angel vanishes, and naturally everyone blames Lisa. I mean, she was the only one who doubted it. She's arrested, but before her trial gets anywhere, the skeleton reappears outside with a message. The end will come at sundown. The town freaks out, and Judge Snyder even issues a restraining order to keep science and religion 500 yards apart. Good luck with that one, buddy. As sundown nears, everyone's in a panic. Lisa's gearing up to say, "I told you so," when the angel suddenly announces,
Prepare for the end. The end of high prices.
Turns out it's all been a publicity stunt for the new Heavenly Hills Mall.
You planted a phony skeleton for me to find. This was all a big hoax.
Not a hoax, a publicity stunt.
You exploited people's deepest beliefs just to hawk your cheesy wares? Well, we are outraged, aren't we?
Oh, yeah, we're outraged. Very much so. But look at all the stores. A pottery barn.
Lisa's furious, calling for a boycott, but the townspeople immediately rush to shop. You can't turn down bargains that good. In the aftermath, Lisa vents to Marge, who points out that for a moment, Lisa actually believed in the angel. Lisa denies it, but you can tell she's shaken a little bit. Oh, and Dr. Gould, he sheepishly admits he never tested the skeleton at all. So this whole thing was pretty useless. It really seems like Lisa just cannot help herself, always pushing her opinions on others. Although this next episode, Lisa on Ice, shows what happens when she really lets loose. And it's kinda terrifying. The episode kicks off with Lisa pulling a prank on Bart. She throws a snowball at him, making him think it snowed overnight. But it turns out that it was just some frost from the freezer, and Bart runs outside in his pajamas, only to get mocked when there's no snow. Nice one, Lisa. That was pretty great. At school, everyone's doing terrible on a test, so Principal Skinner starts handing out academic alerts. The big shock? Lisa gets one for failing gym. No big surprise, she brushes it off at first, like who cares about gym? But then she realizes she can't even throw trash into a bin without missing, so that stings. She tries all kinds of sports at school and fails spectacularly. So the gym teacher tells her to join an after-school pee-wee team if she wants to pass, which of course she does. Meanwhile, Bart is absolutely crushing it in hockey.
Well, boy, you won. So I'm gonna live up to my side of the agreement. Here's your turtle, alive and well.
Aw, thanks, Dad. How about some adulation from my little sister? Wow, Bart, I'm so impressed you were able to give Millhouse a concussion.
He's a natural, and Homer showers him with praise, calling him a winner. Lisa, feeling left out, joins a rival hockey team as their goalie after discovering she's surprisingly good at stopping pucks. Well, now everything changes. Suddenly, Homer's all about Lisa, hyping her up instead of Bart. Bart doesn't take it well, and things spiral into a full-blown sibling rivalry, with Homer egging it on and Marge desperately trying to keep the peace. In her typical mom way, she wants everyone to be winners.
Homer, we can't root for one child over the other. You wouldn't like it if the kids played favorites with us. Hey, Mom, look at me, Mom. Hi, Mom, over here. Mom!
Hi, kids!
Bart tries to pivot to being a scholar to win back Homer's attention, but it's a disaster. He gets everything wrong in class, and even the school bullies are mad at him for wasting Mrs. Crabapple's time. Lisa saves him from getting beaten up, but instead of being grateful, Bart accuses her of stealing Homer's love. The tension builds, with Homer treating their hockey games like a war, while Marge finally snaps, calling him out for being a terrible dad and kicking him out to sleep in the car. It's about time, Marge. The big game between Bart and Lisa ends with a penalty shot showdown. But just as Bart lines up to take the shot, they both remember moments when they had each other's backs as kids. They drop their gear, hug it out, and call it a time. The crowd, not so happy. It erupts into a riot, with Homer whining that both his kids are losers. Meanwhile, Marge stays neutral, just relieved that her kids made up. But also, get that divorce, Marge. So, how many crimes have we witnessed here? Actually, none. Turns out this was just some petty rage between siblings, and we can't charge that no matter how hard I try. Actually, maybe it's a good thing that she isn't just unleashing that rage all the time, especially since she very almost gets involved with the mob in this next episode. The Mook, the chef, the wife, and her Homer. The episode begins with Otto geeking out over Metallica, whose tour bus breaks down in Springfield. But while he's chatting with the band, Bart casually steals the school bus, drives it to school, and somehow runs over a moose in the process. I didn't realize Springfield was high up enough to even have moose. Otto misses his big Metallica moment, and to make it worse, Skinner catches him spanking Bart for the bus hijack and suspends him. Which, yeah, come on, man. Don't spank kids that aren't yours. That's weird as hell. Suddenly, all the parents have to carpool, which is how Lisa meets Michael, this quiet, awkward kid whose dad just happens to be Fat Tony, Springfield's resident mob boss. No big deal, right?
Your dad's a mob boss? Please don't have me whacked. I was just kidding around. We were all having fun. Wasn't it fun? Oh, fun is so fun. There is no mafia. Columbus Day's better than Christmas.
The moment everyone learns about Michael's family, they freak out and keep their distance. But not Lisa. She sits with him at lunch and realizes he's super talented at cooking. Like his dream is to be a chef instead of inheriting the family business. That should have been a bonding moment, but Lisa's values start to clash with the mob world she's now linked to. Things get intense when Fat Tony drives the kids home and gets ambushed by rival mobsters. He dodges them and invites the Simpsons over for dinner, which Lisa thinks is just dinner, but of course turns into mob drama. I mean, how could it not? During dinner, Fat Tony's rivals show up, and Michael, trying to defuse the situation, serves them souffles. It works, kind of. The rivals laugh at Tony, call him weak, and leave. Tony's furious at Michael for embarrassing him, but then things escalate when the rivals attack with a helicopter, leaving Tony hospitalized. Suddenly, the mob's looking to Michael to step up, but he doesn't want the job. But you know who does? Homer. He's all in and goes full mob boss, dragging Bart into it and turning them both into power-hungry maniacs. Michael watches this unfold and realizes he has to intervene. He has to save the Simpson family. In true Godfather fashion, Michael invites the rival mob to dinner, tells them he's quitting, and serves them poisoned food. They drop dead. Yeah, it's dark. Lisa's horrified, but Michael plays it cool, acting like it's just another Tuesday. Fat Tony praises him, but when Lisa confronts him, Michael isn't very open.
Don't ever ask me about my business, Lisa.
The episode ends with a nod to The Godfather, Lisa staring through a door as Michael is inducted into the mob world, or just playing with Hot Wheels. Either way, Lisa's left on the outside looking in, unable to reconcile with Michael's choices. That's why she can't have nice things. Lisa would be a pretty terrible contact for the mob to have. She's far too critical, which is exactly why she tries to be someone else in this next episode. Some are 4'2", but can Lisa truly change? It all kicks off with the end of the school year. While Bart basks in his popularity, Lisa's excitement about the yearbook fades fast when no one wants to sign her book. It's just another reminder that she's not part of the in crowd. She's a nobody, a nerd. Bart, of course, has no trouble collecting signatures, even setting up a booth for autographed copies like he's Springfield Elementary's biggest celebrity.
I don't get it. Straight A's, perfect attendance, bathroom timer? I should be the most popular girl in school.
When the family heads to Ned Flanders' beach house for summer vacation, Marge suggests Lisa bring a friend, but Lisa admits that she doesn't have one. So she decides to reinvent herself, ditching her microscope and books to make a fresh start. She's gonna be cool Lisa for once. At the beach, her transformation seems to work when she meets a group of skater kids. They're cool, carefree, and totally different from anyone she's hung out with before. They even like her fun facts about nature.
A gift from my favorite crustacean. Ooh.
Did you learn that word from a teacher or something?
No, I heard it on Baywatch.
Yeah.
For once, Lisa feels like she belongs, even if she's never watched Baywatch in her life. But Bart isn't having it. He's jealous Lisa has friends at all and feels like she's stealing his spotlight. His plan to sabotage her backfires when the kids reject his try-hard antics, which only makes him more determined to ruin things. During a 4th of July beach party, Bart exposes Lisa's nerdy yearbook accolades to her new friends. Humiliated, Lisa runs off, convinced they'll never see her the same way again. All she had was being cool, and now that's been taken from her. The next day, Lisa feels defeated. She tried being herself, and she tried being someone else, but neither seemed to work. Just as she's ready to give up, her new friends surprise her. They don't care that she's a nerd, they appreciate how smart and kind she is. They've even decorated the family car with seashells as a goodbye gift.
This is the most thoughtful thing anybody ever...
Wait, merciful crap! My car!
It's a touching moment, almost. On the drive home, Bart hands Lisa her yearbook, now filled with signatures from her beach friends. It's his way of apologizing, and for once, the siblings share a rare, sweet moment. Lisa realizes that being herself really is enough. Sometimes it just takes the right people to see it, but man, it'd be so much better if those people were cool. Lisa's finally realized that it's better to be herself than someone else, a lesson she immediately forgets in this next episode. Bart versus Lisa versus the 3rd grade, which forces Lisa and Bart to work together. Yikes. The episode kicks off with the family sick of watching reruns and reality shows, which is definitely a mood that I have felt often. So Bart suggests getting a satellite dish, Homer's on board after making a quick buck at the racetrack, and boom, 500 new TV channels enter their lives. Not all of them good, but who cares? While Lisa's hitting the books for an upcoming achievement test, Bart's glued to the screen. On test day, he's so frazzled, he starts hallucinating TV shows in real life. Unsurprisingly, Lisa crushes the test and skips ahead to 3rd grade, while Bart fails and gets held back. Now they're stuck in the same class.
What? I gotta be in the same class as her. What? I gotta be in the same class as him?
What? They're gonna be in the same class as each other?
I'm sure that'll go well. 3rd grade doesn't go great for Lisa. She struggles to adjust while Bart thrives. Kind of. He's not actually trying, he just remembers the answers from last year, which in a way is surprisingly smart for him. But their teacher, Mrs. McConnell, assumes Lisa needs help, so she literally clamps their desks together. Talk about adding fuel to the fire. Things hit a new low when Bart scores an A on a test, even better than Lisa's A-. She's furious, even accusing him of cheating, but Mrs. McConnell blows her off, bumping Bart's grade to an A+. Lisa's totally humiliated. Then there's the school field trip to Capital City. Bart and Lisa try to avoid each other, but the teacher makes them buddies on the trip. They're bickering non-stop, out for petty revenge, like Bart playing punch buggy just for the hell of it. The trip itself isn't much better. Lisa designs a heartfelt new state flag for an assignment, but Bart overhears her trash-talking him to Marge and decides to get even. He's such an insecure little brat sometimes. He secretly edits her flag to say, "Learn to fart," with a crude sign. When the governor reveals it in front of the class, Lisa is mortified, and Bart plays innocent, which is honestly so unnecessary. Lisa finally snaps, going full Homer and strangling Bart. Their fight sends them rolling into a river, leaving them stranded in the woods with seemingly no way of actually getting home. Meanwhile, back in Springfield, the school is way more worried about finding Lisa than Bart, even naming Milhouse as the temporary class clown. And while this might seem like something pretty cruel, I think it's fair. Milhouse always had a certain charm. Eventually, a family of hillbillies rescues Bart and Lisa, returning them to Capital City. Marge is thrilled, but the school quickly decides this experiment was a total disaster.
Well, if this episode has taught us anything, it's that nothing works better than the status quo.
Bart and Lisa go back to their original grades, restoring peace for now. Until, the next week. Look, Lisa just doesn't play well when it comes to other people like Bart, or even people that are just like her, but politically different. That's the case in The Kid Is Alright, which sees Lisa taking on someone so politically different. It starts with Lisa wandering around Springfield Elementary, singing One by Harry Nilsson because, well, she feels like the loneliest kid ever. Everyone has their little friend groups except Lisa. And then Bart pelts her with spitballs just for the sake of it. Kid's got good aim though, I'll give him that. Seeking refuge in the library, Lisa meets Isabel Gutierrez, a new student who seems like her perfect best friend. They bond over shared interests and geeky passions. And for a moment, Lisa thinks she's finally found a kindred spirit. She found her person. The two team up for a class project on the former President Roosevelt, and everything is great. Until Isabel shocks Lisa with a hardcore rant about how terrible Roosevelt was. Turns out Isabel is a Republican, and not just any Republican, but a staunch, unapologetic one.
If you haven't guessed, Lisa, I'm a Republican. A Lincoln Republican? Not really. A Reagan Republican? Keep going. First President Bush? Getting there. Oh, dear God.
Lisa is horrified. How could her new best friend hold such wrong views? At home, Lisa vents to Marge, who, to Lisa's disbelief, reveals that she also went through a Republican phase in her youth. Marge assures Lisa that people change, and their political views change. And Lisa takes this advice to heart. Maybe it will happen. The next day, Isabel's mom has given her similar advice about Lisa's liberal phase, and the girls patch things up. All seems well until Springfield's Republican Party decides to recruit Isabel as their candidate for a class rep against Lisa in the 2nd grade election. Kinda seems a little sketchy, but okay. Isabel wants to run her campaign honestly, but the Republican elite, led by Mr. Burns of course, steps in with posters, propaganda, and even the promise of cold hard cash, all in the name of manipulating the voters. Lisa, frustrated and desperate, asks Bart for help. When Bart goes digging for dirt, he discovers that Isabel still uses training wheels. Lisa almost stoops to using it against her, but her conscience kicks in. She fires Bart and vows to win fair and square.
Oh, Bart, I want to win, but not like this. I'm sorry, you're fired. Leave the bottle.
I bet by the end of the night you're gonna look pretty good.
The campaign culminates in a heated debate where both girls impress their classmates through their individual qualities, but Lisa loses the election despite some ghostly Democratic losers not actually dead, as Bill Clinton points out, encouraging her to embrace second place. Milhouse cheers her up by sharing poll data. Her ideas were more popular, even if she didn't win. So Lisa learns that having differences doesn't mean losing friendships, and sometimes losing doesn't mean failure. Okay, so Lisa is a loser, I guess, is the lesson here? But is that even the case in the future? Yup, in Holidays of Future Past, Lisa finds she can't even connect with her own daughter. The story kicks off with Marge insisting on the family Christmas card photo tradition, much to Bart and Lisa's frustration. Cue a montage showing the Simpsons Christmas photos over the next 30 years. It's a wild ride. Lisa's love life evolves from college relationships with women to eventually marrying Milhouse and having a daughter, Zia. Sorry, I'm still held up on her marrying Milhouse. Guess everything did come up Milhouse after all. So we fast forward to 2041, Lisa's life looks picture perfect. A sleek modern home, a loving, albeit allergy-prone husband, and a teenage daughter. But Zia is hooked on the web, literally plugging herself in to escape reality. And her mother? Lisa's attempts to engage with Zia fall flat, met with sarcasm and indifference. Lisa vents to Marge, who suggests baking cookies together as a way to bond.
Sometimes I wish strangling your kid was still legal. Not since they passed Homer's Law.
Lisa, exasperated, brushes her off, convinced Marge can't understand the frustration of raising a disrespectful child. Bro, she literally raised Bart. Come on now. Meanwhile, Maggie, now a pregnant rock star, is navigating her chaotic travel schedule, and Bart is dealing with his own mess, living in a rundown apartment, struggling with his deadbeat dad status, and trying to win the respect of his two sons, who see right through him. Turns out, Bart is a terrible father. Who could have seen that one coming? The whole family converges at the Simpsons house for Christmas, where Lisa's tension with Zia reaches its peak. While Zia remains plugged into the Ultranet, Lisa storms off, doubting her abilities as a parent. Later, Lisa sneaks into the Ultranet to confront Zia and discovers a hidden side of her daughter, a room filled with tributes to powerful women, including Lisa herself. Zia admits that she looks up to her mom, a moment that bridges the gap between them and offers Lisa a rare glimpse of the connection she craves with her daughter. But also, why the hell didn't she just say this to her mom? In the end, the Simpsons gather for a chaotic but heartwarming Christmas morning. Maggie arrives with her newborn, Bart reconciles with his kids, and even Homer makes peace with Grandpa. The family comes together for one more Christmas photo. It's a happy ending, eventually. What of her crimes? Well, there are none. Although she does threaten to strangle her own daughter at one point, so I guess there's that.